How safe can you really feel when danger strikes without warning? On a quiet subway train in Brooklyn, one woman's morning commute turned into her final moments, set ablaze by a man whose motives remain a chilling enigma. What drove him to commit such a horrific crime? And how does a city begin to heal when the answers remain as elusive as the tragedy itself?
Why did you do it? Why would you do it? All right, watch out. She's gonna. That is sad. You don't do stuff like that. That is sad. That's the guy right there. You don't do stuff like that.
It began like any other morning in the bustling borough of Brooklyn, New York. The Coney Island-Stillwell Avenue subway station, typically filled with the rhythms of city life, became the scene of a horrifying crime so grotesque it would leave the city in shock. Amid the sea of commuters, one woman sat quietly on the F train, oblivious to the monster lurking in the shadows. Sebastian Zapeta-Calil, a 33-year-old Guatemalan national, entered the train like anyone else. But what he carried with him wasn't just the tools of a commuter. It was the malice of an unpredictable predator. What he did next would forever alter the narrative of safety in New York City's subway system. It was approximately 7:30 a.m. when the routine of the station shattered. Zapeta-Calil approached the woman, who was either resting or asleep in her seat. Without any provocation, he pulled out a lighter, ignited her clothing, and fanned the flames with a shirt to ensure her body became engulfed.
It was just before 7:30 this morning when our person of interest and the victim were both riding an F train to the end of the line at Stillwell Avenue in Brooklyn. As the train pulled into the station, the suspect calmly walked up to the victim, who was in a seated position at the end of a subway car. The suspect used what we believe to be a lighter to ignite the victim's clothing, which became fully engulfed in a matter of seconds.
Please subscribe to our channel and make comments about what you think of our videos. Panic erupted as fellow passengers screamed in horror. The train car filled with thick, black smoke, but the flames acted faster than anyone could react. The woman, unable to escape, was consumed by the fire. Witnesses watched helplessly, frozen by the randomness and ferocity of the attack. Surveillance footage later revealed something even more chilling. Zapeta-Calil didn't flee in a panic. He stood back and observed, emotionless, as the fire devoured the woman.
Officers who were on patrol on an upper level of that station smelled and saw smoke and went to investigate. What they saw was a person standing inside the train car, fully engulfed in flames. With the help of an MTA employee and a fire extinguisher, the flames were put out. Unfortunately, it was too late.
It was a moment that spoke volumes about the depth of his depravity. When emergency responders arrived, the fire had burned so intensely that identifying the victim became nearly impossible. Her burns were so severe that authorities could not immediately discern her features, race, or even age. It would take days of forensic work to try and match her with missing person reports or dental records. This anonymity made the crime even more harrowing. This woman, now a victim of a senseless act of violence, had been stripped of not just her life but her identity, reduced to a tragic statistic in a city of millions. Police quickly sprang into action, releasing images of Zapeta-Calil captured from station surveillance cameras. By mid-afternoon, his face was plastered across news outlets and social media, labeled as a person of interest in the horrifying subway attack. But in a twist of fate, it wasn't seasoned detectives or high-tech tools that led to his capture. Instead, it was a group of high school students who recognized him. They had seen his image on their phones while scrolling through updates about the case. Without hesitation, they notified authorities, and by the end of the day, Zapeta-Calil was in custody. Please subscribe to our channel and make comments about what you think of our videos.
All right, hello everyone. Thank you for being here. Initially, we intended to use this press conference to ask for the public's help in identifying and locating someone who we believe carried out one of the most depraved crimes one person could possibly commit against another human being. And it took the life of an innocent New Yorker. But at this hour, I am pleased to announce that a short time ago, alert NYPD transit officers took a person of interest into custody.
When he was apprehended, police found him carrying the same lighter he had used to commit the murder. Despite the damning evidence, Zapeta-Calil displayed no remorse. His defense? He claimed to have no recollection of the incident, blaming his actions on heavy drinking the night before. The motive for this heinous act remains a mystery. Investigators could find no link between Zapeta-Calil and the victim. There was no argument, no interaction, no reason. It was, by all accounts, a completely random act of violence. This randomness sent shockwaves through New York City. Subways, long seen as lifelines for millions, now carried an air of unease. Was this an isolated act, or was it a symptom of deeper societal cracks? As investigators dug deeper into Zapeta-Calil's background, they uncovered another troubling fact. He wasn't even supposed to be in the country. Deported in 2018 for prior offenses, Zapeta-Calil had illegally re-entered the United States. His presence on that train was not just an individual failure but a systemic one, sparking outrage across political and social spectrums. Critics seized the moment to demand stricter immigration enforcement, pointing to this tragedy as evidence of lax policies. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security swiftly announced plans to initiate removal proceedings against Zapeta-Calil, but for many, this was too little, too late. As the story gained national attention, the victim's anonymity became a symbol of the senselessness of her death. Candlelight vigils were held across the city, with people gathering to honor a life that ended far too soon. "We may not know her name, but we know her suffering," one mourner said at a vigil near the station. Meanwhile, prosecutors wasted no time. Zapeta-Calil was charged with first-degree murder and arson, crimes that carry the harshest penalties under New York law. At his arraignment, he showed little emotion, even as the charges were read. The courtroom was silent except for the prosecutor's harrowing description of the crime. This case is not just a story about one man's monstrous act. It is a mirror reflecting the vulnerabilities of urban life, the way strangers cross paths daily in a city that never stops moving. It is a reminder of how fleeting safety can be and how even the most routine spaces can become arenas for unspeakable violence. As New York City awaits the trial of Sebastian Zapeta-Calil, the victim's life and her death stand as a somber testament to the randomness of evil and the resilience of a city determined to seek justice.
There must be strong, swift consequences on this person, and I use that term lightly, who committed this brutal, brutal homicide.
Please subscribe to our channel and make comments about what you think of our videos.